What's up, guys? It's your boys Awoki back with another Chris Watts and Nicole Kessinger video. This is the part 2 of the Nicole phone calls after the murder that are very, very puzzling, very, very suspicious, and so forth like that. And we're going to look into the part 2 of this. So before we go any further, if you guys could do me a solid favor and subscribe to my YouTube channel by hitting that white bar icon down at the bottom right. Hit that bell icon next to it. So when I do post videos like this one, you guys will get that little ring notification that's Wokey myself has posted that video. Then you guys can watch, comment, like, and share. And again, thank you guys so very much for the continued love and support that you guys show on my channel every single day. I can't thank you guys enough. Keep doing what you guys are doing. We'll continue to keep growing together. With that being said, let's get into these phone calls and see what more we can find out that she was suspicious and shady. Let's take a look. All right, so I'm going to commentate about this because we can't use the audio. August 30th, 9:20. Again, I'm not going to say everything when it comes to each and every one. We're just going to talk about who she's talking to and how long. On August 30th, this is almost a month, well, not a month after, because the 13th of August is when the murders happen. We already know that she lost her job. She's looking for new work and so forth like that. So definitely don't know exactly what she's trying to find. She's talked about a sobriety or sober living center and so forth like that. If you guys want to take a look at part one is in the description below. Don't forget to check that one out, but let's take a look further. So we have Stephanie, her sister. We have Hazel Heckers, which is a victim support unit or person that she could talk to. She talks to her dad quite a bit, talks to her sister again. This one, sister Hazel, the victim support unit again. Then she talks to a professional counselor, a family counselor, psychotherapy, psychology. I can't remember the name of it, but we'll take a look at here. Glen Eagles in Northern Glen. Not quite sure who that is. So we move in again. She's on her phone every hour, if not the half hour. So she was talking to her dad, talking to her voicemail, dad, sister. Definitely a lot of calls to her dad, and then Jim that one day. Holy cow. Okay, so August 31st, the last day of August, before we go into September. Call from dad, or call to dad, or from dad, to dad, from dad. Man, she is talking to her dad a lot on this one. And then we go to the next one. Sunburst Counseling. Interesting, that's a new one. Then she talks to Jim. Another friend. I wish we could know who these friends are, because we don't exactly know who they are. Could be a normal friend, could be another person she's trying to date or hook up with, unless it's James or Jim. So that was the only calls that she had that day. Then we go into September 1st. She talks to her dad. A voicemail from her friend again. There it is, psychotherapy. Jay Durston psychotherapy. She needs a lot of therapy. Voicemail to mom again. She hasn't talked to her mom in quite a little bit of time, but we see that she talked to her on September 1st. Then she's talking to her mom a little bit more. Voicemail to mom, voicemail to mom, voicemail to mom. Or not, voicemail, and then call. Looks like she can't get a hold of her mom. Then she talks to her sister. And that's it for the 1st of September. 2nd of September. Jim. It's funny that she calls Jim at nighttime. Probably because she wants some poontang. And she's probably looking at him to get it from, because all you see is 1 minute, 8 minutes. Not like she's talking too much or whatever have you. So definitely interesting. Again, I can only speculate of what she might be talking to these people about, but it's funny that she tells people to leave, or the authorities to leave Jim alone, but yet she's talking to James a lot. So wouldn't that be of interest to look at? But yet we're just people that sit behind our computers looking at nothing. 3rd of September. How far does this go? It goes till the 12th of September that we look at. Okay. I wish we could look at the before. I wonder if she's got before the murders. I definitely like to see those ones. Next we have September call, 3rd at call, rip-off report on Travelocity. Rip-off report. Travelocity. Is she trying to go somewhere? Get out of the area, like her safe house she keeps talking about. On September 3rd at 10 o'clock in the morning, Wheat Ridge, voicemail for 2 minutes. Called a family member, don't know how long, for a minute. Then she calls Jim again, and then she calls Wheat Ridge again. Wheat Ridge. I definitely need to look into who the Wheat Ridge is. Family member for a minute and so forth like that. So, and then she calls Jim again. Yep, she calls Jim again. So, very interesting. Again, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, that 1 minute phone call that she called at 6 something in the morning. 6:16, I do believe it was again. The 4th of September. We got a red one. What's red? Okay, on September 4th, she called or met with Agent Kobach at the Frederick Police Department at the Lakewood office. She calls her dad that morning, wondering if she's trying to prepare. Then she calls Jim right after her dad. Interesting. And then she calls her mom for 42 minutes. And then she calls Jim again. What the flip? Very, very interesting. Okay, let's see if we can back it up here. So she calls Jim again, calls dad, then Jim, called to Glen Eagles in North Glen. Then she calls Dr. Palmer, a psychologist. So this is completely different than psychology. We have a psychology, then a psychologist. Holy cow. Okay. Then we get a call from her dad again, or from her dad. And then at 9:04 at 1 in the afternoon, at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I met with Nicole Kessinger at the headquarters located at 69. Is this when she's with her dad? It's funny that she calls her dad and then she's at the police station. And then after the police station, which they met, how long did they talk to each other? So it looks like maybe for an hour-ish time, because at 2:20, she calls him, Jim, leaves a voicemail, and then she calls Glen Eagles in North Glen. Maybe I need to look that up and see what that is. Not quite sure what that is. Next one we have is Glen Eagles, then USAA, which is insurance. Excel Energy customer support. So she's probably behind on her utility or her energy bill. And then she talks to them for 2 minutes. And then again, after a few minutes, she calls the customer support again. Interesting. Very interesting. She calls more than I've ever called for things. It's just ridiculous. September 15th, psychotherapy. Junior Dyerstein, psychotherapy. Then a Dr. Palmer, psychologist. Dad again. Jim again. And then Jim again. I don't think I call my fiance this much. I probably should, but to each his own. Then we have Dwayne again. We have Jim again. For somebody that she says that she doesn't, or she wants Jim to be left alone. For them seeing that Jim has been called quite a bit, they should have questioned him, brought him in, talked to him. Why did they listen to her? Then we get a call to Green Chef. Is this a food company? Is this a place of employment? Who knows? She leaves a voicemail, calls Jim again at 11:34 p.m., but then only for a minute, and then she calls her dad. Weird. September 6th, there are a lot of calls today. Charlotte Nelson phone interview day between herself, Jim, and her dad. I wonder why. Were they panicking? So Charlotte phone interview day between herself, Jim, and her dad. Interesting. So she had a four-way call. On September 6th, Colorado Bureau of Investigation, CBI agent Kevin Kobach, received text messages from Nicole Kessinger regarding a law enforcement official attempt to reach out to Charlotte Nelson. Was she not answering? Or was it like not a, what do they call it, a summons or whatever have you? But it sounds like it. Call to Dad Dwayne Kessinger. One from Jim at 12:20 in the afternoon, and then another call to Dwayne, her father. Another one from her. Who calls their father at 12:42 in the morning? That just looks suspicious in itself. I don't know how many times my parents are already in bed by then. So, and then look, call to police. Wheat Ridge for police. Wheat Ridge to police. Why is she calling them in the morning? And then to her dad. Then Jim. And then Jim again. What is she doing? Dad, Jim. Look at this. 2 minutes. Hang up. 2 minutes. Hang up. 3 minutes. What is she doing? Then she leaves a voicemail. So Jim's calling her. Then Jim calls her again. Then she calls Jim later on. Calls Jim. What the flip? Like she calls him, talks to him, hangs up. Calls him again right afterwards. 33 minutes. What the? If you guys could figure out and let me know what you guys think when it comes to this, if there is any possibilities of something you might just spark in your brain, because I don't know why she just calls, hangs up, and then calls again. Why? Calls her mom, talks for a minute, hangs up, calls her back again after a minute, talks for 35 minutes. Why? I'd like to know where she was at when she was calling this. So Charlotte Nelson's phone interview by phone is 6/9/2018. I like to listen to that one. So she talked for just under 29 minutes, 28 minutes. I'd like to find that. If you guys can find that Charlotte Nelson police interview, let me know. We got one from her dad again. From dad, then to dad, then to dad, then to dad. What is she doing? I might be saying this multiple times, but I am so confused why she's her dad, James, Jim, or Jim. Next one, September 7th, Jim, in the morning, Jim, Glen Eagles in North Glen, voicemail to Hazel Heckers, the victim support unit. Then from her dad, to Jim, from Jim. Do you guys call this much? Or is this just me? Because I don't call as much as Nicole Kessinger does in one day. It's probably me in a week. Let's see. Move to the next one. We got call to Jim, call from Jim, then from Jim. I think we need to talk to Jim. We get a call from a friend, or call to a friend. September 8th. Sister, then Jim, then mom again, and then Ford Family Therapy. What does she need therapy for? Why? It makes no sense why she would need therapy. Then we get call to Jim, from Jim again, right after. Then from Jim, and then to her sister. Wow. Then to her sister again, and then to her sister again. To Jim, from Jim, to Jim, from Jim, to Jim. What are they doing? I am so lost here. Then we get to Jim again. She's been doing. You cannot tell me this woman has not slept with Jim. From family member, then Dwayne again, then Dwayne again. The 10th of September, Jim, 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 Jim. Did I say Jim? I said Jim. Jim, to, from, whatever have you. Jim is a hot topic commodity right now. I can tell you that right now. From dad to unknown. I really like to know the unknown. Like, is it somebody that she's meeting online? Because she said she was in dating apps and so forth like that. A call to Frederick Police Department. So almost a month later, she's still talking to them. Then she's talking to Glen Eagles and Northern Glen again. Then Jim. So Frederick Police Department for an 22 minutes. Jim again. North Glen Eagles, North Glen. To her mom again. She doesn't have a really big social circle, as you see. But then she's freaking out, and then she's going to talk to her mom. Wait, voicemail to mom, voicemail to mom, voicemail to mom, voicemail to mom. Like, mom's not answering the phone. Why is mom not answering the phone? Like, they're all voicemails. Called to mom. She finally answered. Probably mom was working. Who knows? Then we get a call from James or Jim. Then we get a call to Jim. Then from Jim. Then from Jim again. This Jim looks like somebody that we really needed to look at. From Jim, to Jim, from Jim, from Jim. So, you know how I said there was multiple people that could have been out there on Survey 319? Could have been Jim. Oh, we have September 11th. Let's see here. We got call from to Jim again. Voicemail. Mom doesn't like to answer very much to Nicole. Sister. Then mom again. I wonder what the sister looks like. How close she looks to Nicole. Wait, hold on. We got some different ones. We got toll-free call to Lendkey. Paychecks Flex. She still doesn't have a job. Paycheck Flex. I wonder what Paycheck Flex is. Let me check. So apparently Paycheck Flex is a cloud-based human resource, payroll, and benefits platform for businesses of all size. Employee self-service. Reporting. Integrates with many popular productivity and financial tools, which automatically send them timesheets to paychecks. She working for herself? Time, attendance, payroll, could possibly be. Well, she calls them multiple times, 208, 239, and 251. Interesting. So the 12th, which is the last one, she talks to Jim, Jim, and Jim. More Jims. Jim. Voicemail to mom, and then mom calls back. Call from mom right afterwards. Then we get a call from dad, then Jim. Jim looks like a very interested person, or a person of interest. Holy cow. We have dad, Jim, and Jim. This is a month later on the September 13th. We got Jim again, voicemail the mom, call from Jim, call from dad. Interesting. And then called a friend, called a friend, called a friend. Who is this friend? Who is it? These are two different friends here. But 34, 34, 34 for a minute, a minute, a minute, a minute. This is so odd. Nicole, I received from Nicole Nikki Kessinger via email her Verizon phone statement for the period of August 14th through the 13th of 2018. So very interesting. I know this one was a little bit more puzzling. Definitely interesting that she still doesn't have a job, or she probably is self-employed, trying to get some money in or so forth, or probably accessing some of her benefits, tapping into her 401k because she doesn't have any employment. She looks like she was looking at her utility bill and so forth like that. But with all that information that we looked at in just this video too, in part 2, let me know your guys' comments below. Don't forget to hit that bell icon when you guys subscribe. Again, all that information in the comments below. I would surely love to hear you guys' partakes, your theories, your opinions on all these different voice calls. Jim definitely needed to have his own little interview and so forth. So again, I thank you guys for watching. Please take care, be safe. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Keep nerding on. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.